Well, apparently when I do math, people get very, very mad. But this whole video was supposed to be about the Microsoft earnings call, which did not go well for Xbox console sales. Yeah, that's right. Microsoft had their big F year 26 Q1 earnings. Sony has one right around the corner. And I wanted to talk a little bit about console sales and where they are currently. So, Microsoft's financial year 26 earnings happened. And here's the TLDR from Shinobi. I listened to the earnings and went through the numbers myself. Content and services went up 1%. Xbox hardware dropped 29% again, and total gaming revenue has decreased 2%, meaning it's at $113 million. Now, if you spin those numbers another way, it's actually seemingly a bit worse than you might expect because the figures, well, let's just say they're not super great, okay? Satya Nadella came on the call and basically said the following. He mentioned that, yes, there is AI for the handheld. Gaming is at 155 million monthly active users. Minecraft hit an all-time high. Overall content and services had a record revenue for the quarter. They had a great response to the Xbox Ally launch, and they set new record for players on PC. Now, Amy Hood talked about their financial outlook, and they said that it's not looking great, basically, for lack of a better term. But yeah, so they are expecting content and services to go up next quarter, which was a bit of surprise. But here they said content and services expected to, oh, I'm sorry, content and services are expected to decrease in low to mid single digit percent, and hardware will further decline, no percentage provided. Spoiler warning, it's going to be bad. So usually during these calls, what I like to do is I like to take a look and see where Xbox is at with console sales. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about this, and we don't have official data, so all of this is estimates before I show you my crazy math chart here. So, long story short, in 2020 they sold 10 million. In 2021, 7.7, putting them at 17.7. In 2022 they sold 4 million. That's according to the ID at Xbox leak that we've all heard about. That puts them at about 21.7 million. 2023, 6 million, 27.7. That is according to Take Two earnings, which, Strauss Selling had to come out and say, oh, yeah, this is not quite accurate. But then they did it again next year, and they're probably going to do it again next week during their Microsoft earnings call. So that's the only figure that we really have to go off. Take Two puts them around 32 million sold through 2024. And I'm going to go ahead and estimate with a 29% decrease in sales quarter over quarter with an estimated additional percentage decrease. I think they're going to be at 35.1 million consoles sold, optimistically, through 2025. Now, other sources, Ampere, who I trust very much, puts them at 34.1 as of June 2025. VG Charts as of July 2025, who I do not really trust at all. I never use VG Charts, puts them at 33.12. And Kepler L2 on NeoGAF says they have failed to hit 30 million consoles sold, putting them at 29.9. Now, whenever I start talking about financials, people really get into the numbers, and they're like, oh, fiscal year, normal people year. I am talking about normal person year, the year you and I know and love. You know how normal people years work, right? They end December 31st. I'm not doing fiscal years, so take for that what you will. Now, Sony has their data nice and handy. So if we want to compare to PlayStation, which has I made a TikTok. It was meant to be a TikTok joke talking about where PlayStation was and blaming TikTok on their on their ability to sell versus PS4. So I'm just going to show you the numbers. As you can see here in Q3, that's actually where normal people years end, and their financial year is reported here. So we're doing Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So in their first year, they actually match where PlayStation was. So you can see they sold 4.5. And then if you do the math, PlayStation 5 is doing quite well, 12.8, 14.8. 22.7, 20.2, and the last official figure we have from PlayStation puts them at 80.3 million consoles sold. Now, they were only about 1.7 million units apart from where the PlayStation 4 sold in 2017. Currently, with 6 months left of reporting to do, they are sitting at 14.1 million units difference. And the PS4, by the end of normal people year, December 2018, it had sold 94.4. That's actually above what a lot of the reporting from back in 2018 said, because Sony came out, adjusted their figures, and it was actually much higher than they had originally anticipated. And again, I am going off of Sony numbers. I am not going off VG charts. I am not going off anybody else. I am going off officially reported data, because Sony, proudly, as they should, shares that data and shows us exactly how many consoles that they have sold per quarter, so you can cut the math however you want. You can do it fiscal year, you can do it whatever. I choose to do it through normal people years through December of any given year. And currently they are trailing by 14.1 million units. But I wanted to, it wasn't really about where PlayStation is or where Xbox is or anybody else. This was more about where the business is and where console sales are. Now, we know that PlayStation is currently ahead of the PlayStation 4 in the US for console sales. I think Matt Piscatella puts them about 4% above where the PlayStation 4 was, according to his last reporting. But if you look at Sony's own reporting, I do not think that they will surpass the PlayStation 4 this year. That is the number I've been waiting for. I am wondering when that is going to happen. I thought maybe it would happen this year because of GTA 6, and I am giving you an update because they haven't been there yet. And just to show another source, this is Take-Two's earnings of, they're saying 107 million Gen 9. This is how I get the Xbox numbers right, because Xbox, hides how many consoles they sold because they're not selling well. And then I sort of get to estimate, okay, 29% year-over-year decline, 29% year-over-year decline for the quarter. Let's put them at 3.1 million for 2025. And I think the Take-Two earnings that comes out next week, I'm guessing they're going to put them around 35 million sold, and we will have PlayStation's official numbers for the year, so we can just look at PlayStation's come. I believe it's November 11th off the top of my head. So PlayStation doing great. They're showing growth in their monthly active users, but Xbox had an absolutely terrible year. And one of the tweets, well, in my opinion, they had a very, very poor year, because when you look at revenue, Insider Gaming did talk about it. Xbox revenue falls 113 million year over year, and I said that seems bad. And a lot of people got really upset about this, just going through the math and everything and saying, misleading headline, Xbox total revenue fell 113 million. Yeah, that's bad, but includes first full quarter of Activision. I don't know why that is important, because they have been including Activision. Content and services up 1%, beating negative 5% expected. Gaming profit plus 44% to 1.2 billion. I don't really understand that figure. Hardware down, but services carried, not falling, transforming. I think what he's trying to illustrate is that most of the revenue, it's not coming from where you would expect with Xbox. Even Satya Nadella talked about how happy people were with the ROG Xbox Ally X. And the whole reason that I wanted to make this video is to illustrate why Sony is now focusing on monthly active users, and why Xbox is focusing not only on monthly active users, but a drastic revamp of their hardware plan. It's because their hardware doesn't sell. As much as you love Xbox, you can love the Xbox Series X and S, and you can think, oh, hey, like, it's a great console. I actually think the Series X is a great console. The Series S is also. But the fact is, they are trailing PlayStation by, well, let's say PlayStation does crazy numbers in 2020. Let's say they sell 20 million units, or even more conservatively, let's say they get to 90 million by the end of the year, versus the figures where I have Xbox, and Xbox is at 35.1 million. That's not good. That is exactly why Xbox cannot compete in the console market. Phil saw the writing on the wall back in 2022, 2023, because they know, oh, we've sold 21.7 million, like about half of where PlayStation 5 is in the same time period. In 2022, that's really where the discrepancy happened. PS5 was at 32.1 million, and Xbox was at 21.7 million, according to the leak. And then in 2023, we're estimating that they only sold 27.7 versus Sony, who's at 54. So, that chart for Sony versus Xbox, it's widening. I don't know how to do it. So, like, Xbox is not increasing drastically. And then PlayStation, their big goal was to outsell the PlayStation 4. I don't think they're going to get there this year. It'll be curious to see where GTA 6 is. And honestly, the main reason I would say the PlayStation 5 won't outsell the PS4, there's two factors. I think people are really worried about spending a lot of money right now. I think that they're going to hold on to their dollars and cents. And tariffs don't help, so all the console prices have increased. And there's not a huge holiday release that I think is going to drive console sales. Ghost of Yotei looks like it's selling well, but GTA 6 really would have pushed the console. And if you are looking for console purchasing advice, I would recommend the base PlayStation 5. I think the base PlayStation 5 is probably, with the price increase and everything, it's the best value you can get in gaming right now. In terms of, if you're a console player and you're looking for the best console, that is what I would recommend. That is what I would recommend to my friends, and I have said that many times. So that's sort of where they're at. I mean, they didn't say too much about where Xbox is going. I definitely think content and services will go down. It'll be interesting to see just how much of an impact the Game Pass cancellations have had. But that is my long and short of it. And yeah, I ended up getting community noted by Grok. Sorry, I'm going to go off of Sony's own earnings calls versus Grok, but here's why people are mad. I made it's half joking. I said PlayStation still needs to sell 14.1 million PS5 consoles this year to surpass total sales of the PlayStation 4. That's accurate because we only have reporting for half the year of 2025 come November 11th. Let me get the official date for you, though, on that earnings call, because it's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, it's November 11th. We will have another 3 months of where the PlayStation 5 is at currently, and probably estimates for the rest of the normal person year for PlayStation 5 sales. I don't think they're going to get there this year. I think if they surpass the PlayStation 4, it will be next year. I think Xbox continues to see, I think it's going to be a even more drastic hardware decline because, calling my local stores, they only stock like one Xbox unit. And it just seems like these things aren't flying off the shelves. They are kind of just, I mean, with the price increase, why would you be going out to buy a console right now? It just seems, I would get one secondhand, honestly. Like if I had to get one, I suppose I would probably look secondhand first to get it there. Anyway, that's long and the short of it. Saw the tweet was picking up, so I thought I would talk a little bit about my figures and just talk a little bit about where they are. Again, this is Sony's own reporting. Here is their most recent report. They put it at 2.5 million and 2.8 million. You got to remember, these are their fiscal quarters. Like Q3 is actually December, and Q4 is January through March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So Q3 will be our final number estimate for 2025, and we will get that official reporting from Sony. Anyway, just wanted to share my thoughts with you and share how I do my Destin math. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. As you can tell, I'm a little sick. I am fighting something off for sure, and it sucks. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you so much to the members, Chris Ferretti, Phil Roney, and Aries EMS. I do greatly appreciate you. I got to get out of here, but I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.